Alright, what's going on, guys? Trev back again. Here to bring you another video. This video is going to be talking about The Walking Dead Season 3, Episode 10, doing my predictions for Home. Alright, so I want to get back in the swing of things with doing my weekly reviews, and then predictions, maybe a few discussion videos here and there about what's going on in The Walking Dead. I might do one this week talking about Merle, Daryl, what's going to happen with them, because I think that's probably, in the whole show right now, to me anyway, the most interesting thing is what's going to happen with Daryl. Specifically in the next few episodes, what he's going to decide to do. Is he going to stay with Merle? Is he going to go back to the group? What's going to happen with him? Very, very exciting. And there is a sneak peek for that. We've got a few different things for next week's episode. I'll put the links to all of them in the description. We have a promo which was shown essentially as like a quick commercial for it for Home. And that was shown during the episode. In it, we have a few different action sequences where you have Daryl shooting his crossbow, Michonne going after something or somebody, we don't know yet, possibly going after the governor. We'll see what happens with that. And Rick, jumping out of the way of somebody shooting at him. Again, we don't know who it is. So there's quite a few good little parts in that. I'll put the link for that in the description for the promo. It was there during, last episode 9, the suicide thing. The next one is, let's see, there's 2 sneak peeks. The first sneak peek is 1 minute and 38 seconds long, and it's essentially a scene with Daryl and Merle just out in the woods talking about their current predicament and what they're going to do. And that one, to me, is my favorite out of all the sneak peeks we've got. So definitely check that one out. If you're only going to watch one of them, watch that one right away. Sneak peek number 1. Because essentially they're talking, and Merle's kind of letting Daryl know that, or at least in his opinion, he thinks that if they go back to the prison, all of Daryl's friends are going to be dead already. The governor would have already taken them out as it is. Now, he could be saying that for a couple of reasons. He could be saying that because he knows that he can't go back to the prison, and he doesn't want to be alone. Merle's in a weird spot because he can't really go back to, he can't go to the prison, that's for sure. Because Michonne or Glenn, they're going to kill him. There's no way. Rick can keep an eye on him all the time. They're all armed. He'd be a dead man if he went back to the prison. Sooner or later, someone would assassinate him. So he can't go there, and he can't go back to Woodbury either. Because if you think about it, the governor, he's not on good terms with the governor right now. His brother is part of the group that was causing the whole mess. And the whole thing with Michonne specifically, Merle told the governor, if you guys remember earlier on in the season, that he had killed Michonne, that she's dead. And then next thing you know, Michonne shows up and kills the governor's daughter. So Merle is blacklisted, I would think, from the governor's group as well. I don't think he'll be let back in either way, unless I don't know. I guess there's a chance, unless something really weird happens. There's a possibility. But I highly doubt that Philip will let him back in to the group. So I think he's ostracized from both. So obviously not wanting to be on his own, Daryl, he's going to try to say things to keep Daryl with him, although maybe he does really just think that the governor's going to roll Rick's group and just destroy him, kill them all. So, which obviously we know has not happened at this point, but we'll see what happens pretty soon. So that one to me is my favorite, and that, out of all the 3 camps right now, if you want to consider that to be its own storyline going off on its own, just the 2 of them, to me, is the most interesting of anything that's going on right now in The Walking Dead, just to see what happens with them. Is Daryl going to turn back? Is he going to leave Merle, ditch him, and go back to the prison? Especially now that Merle's told him his friends are probably dead. He may feel like he made a bad decision and that they might need him, and maybe go back, just ditch Merle or something, which could work too, because then Merle, again, would be sort of a character that's kind of lost in limbo for The Walking Dead, and then maybe another season in the future, they could have him come back in or something again, because he's a survivor on his own too, just like Michonne. He's been on his own, the rooftop and everything that happened with that. Yes, he met the governor's group after that, but he's a character that has been in the storyline and then will disappear for a season and then come back, or a lot of episodes. Like, he was gone for what, maybe 17 episodes from Guts to the beginning of season 3, or was he even in the premiere, or the the season premiere, or was it the second episode? Well, it doesn't matter anyway. But you guys know what I'm saying is that he'll go out of the show and then come back. So that would be kind of interesting too if Daryl left him and then went back to the group, which I think probably everybody as a fan wants to see him do, and then have Merle just disappear from the story, and then maybe come back in a few seasons again. Michael Rooker's a great actor, I think, and I'm actually really impressed that they actually brought him back in at all, because in season 2, I mean, a lot of us were probably thinking that he's just gone. He's either dead or whatever, or who knows, and we'll never see him again in the show. So a good thing they were able to get him back and have all these great storylines with him, because I think that's really, really interesting. Some of the best character development of the season, I think, is with Daryl this season for sure. So that one's really interesting. Definitely check that one out. Really excited to see what happens with them next week. To give a prediction for it, I don't think we're going to see Daryl turn back just yet, but maybe in a couple episodes, I would think, because he's such a fan favorite. They definitely won't have him just disappear out of the show, I wouldn't think. Merle also, very interesting. But him, I could see him definitely disappearing again and coming back, because he's done it once already. So yeah, that to me is really, really exciting. Can't wait to see what happens with that. Next one is sneak peek number 2 for home. Also in the description. This one is Glenn talking with the group, and you don't see Rick there. That's interesting. He doesn't appear to be there with the group. You have Herschel, you have the rest, and Glenn essentially is talking to Michonne about the possibility of trying to assassinate the governor, which would work, because if they could kill him, then I don't think they would really have to worry about the group anymore at all. I think that would be it. It'd be over if they could just get to him, and Michonne would definitely be good at that, because she knows the territory, she knows where he is, she's got her sword close range, so she can sneak up on him and take him out. That would end the whole thing. It's probably not going to happen, but at least for them, from their perspective, I can see it would be worth a try for them to give that a go and see what happens if they're able to get him, because they could end the whole thing. Also, we finally figured out what Glenn was talking about when he was saying, we can end this tonight, with the whole Suicide King. I don't understand the name in the episode of the Suicide King. To me, it's just like the Suicide King, like nobody committed suicide. Nobody. Maybe it meant that Rick just went in there by himself or with Maggie, just the two of them, and got them out of there. Maybe it was like suicide going in, I guess. I don't know. It's a weird name for an episode. I think, when there was no suicide or anything like that in the episode. So anyway, but this one, of course, called Home. So maybe home referring to either the group deciding to leave the prison, where they're going to make their home, or what we thought a lot of us earlier, Rick traveling back to his hometown to try to find Morgan, possibly, because he never did get a chance to do that. Also, there are some leaked photos that Morgan may appear. I don't want to give too much away. I've already seen all the photos, and I kind of have an idea of what's going to happen, but I don't want to spoil it for anybody. But it sounds like Morgan will probably show up at some point, or something will happen with him if Rick is to go back. The description for the episode reads, the group is preparing their next step. Rick goes in search of his lost friend, and meanwhile, Daryl and Merle are wondering if they themselves made the right decisions. The governor of Woodbury tries to restore order in town and is planning to punish the people responsible for the chaos. So I don't assume... Now, the whole thing with Andrea, whether or not she's going to be able to go to the prison yet, I'm not sure that's going to happen this episode or the next one. But that should be interesting to see as well. And what would happen if Rick wasn't there when she went there? That'd be weird. So I think they'll probably leave that for the next episode, episode 11 or 12 or something like that. We probably won't see that yet. But definitely will probably be a great episode, getting to see Rick go off on his own. Maybe the group just said, hey, Rick, you're not in any kind of mental condition to be doing anything right now. Take a vacation. Go home with Carl and see what's going on there. Maybe take Michonne with you and then come back when you're ready. It's weird, because then we would have 4 separate groups, which is good too. Small groups, but 4 separate ones at the same time. So if that does happen, the weird thing about it, though, is that I understand that he's losing his mind, so they might want him to go off and kind of get his thoughts together and everything. But at the same time, this is like one of the worst times he could ever leave at. You've got the leader here, even though he's going crazy, which we saw in the last episode. By the way, that from the interviews and from the things that Glenn Mazzara has said, the showrunner for season 3, that was supposed to be Lori that Rick hallucinated. Maybe it was my TV set or something. It didn't look like her to me. Some people said it actually is the same actress. it didn't look like the same actress to me. So I don't know. There are people arguing back and forth saying it is her, it isn't her, you know, whatever. I mean the actress. Obviously, it's supposed to be Laurie, but people are saying it was Sarah Wayne Callies. Some people say it wasn't. So, you know, to me, it didn't look like it, but it could have just been the lighting. I mean, it was bad lighting. The quality's not the best on my set. It's just basic cable. So, you know, I couldn't really tell too much. But either way, it's supposed to be Laurie, so we'll give them the benefit of the doubt. It was a hallucination, so it doesn't have to look exactly like her. Maybe she wasn't as anorexic before the zombie apocalypse occurred. I don't know, but, you know, he maybe remembers her. Maybe that was supposed to be a wedding dress or something like that. I don't know, but either way, it's cool, and it'll be interesting to see what happens with Rick going off, maybe hopefully finding Morgan, and that'll be interesting too. So lots of really good plot development and storylines coming about, even just from the get-go. I love The Suicide King as an episode, thought it was a great addition to the series. Really looking forward to this one, seeing what happens with it, even though I do think it's a little bit strange that Rick would go off on his own when you have all this nonsense happening. You know, but maybe he feels ostracized because the group kind of thinks he's losing his mind and thinks he's crazy. So if he's in that kind of state, I guess it makes sense that they would want him to just kind of come back when he's ready. Anyway, in terms of predictions, I'm hoping next week's episode will be just as good as last week's was. Of course, as always, any video suggestions, put them in the comments. Maybe we'll do a discussion video just talking about what will happen with Daryl and Merle, because that's a lot of fun. And that's pretty much it for this week's predictions, guys. Please rate, comment, and subscribe. This is Trev, saying peace.